Hi Sag, this is your reading for April 2019. Thank you so much for joining. Please make sure that all of your presence is here with me for the reading so that you get the most out of your time with me. So please don't multitask at this time. Put aside anything that you might be doing now. And while I'm shuffling, take a moment here to check in with your higher self and your guides. Reach out, ask them to check in with my higher self and my guides so that we can create a feedback loop to make sure that the messages you receive here are tailored for you. Let's take a look. So, Sagittarius, I'll be very honest. I'm always very honest here. If it's your first time watching, you'll find that I'm rather blunt. What I'm seeing here is some troublesome energy, actually. You have quite a few swords and quite a few wands cards that are indicating issues around argumentativeness or conflict, some kind of communication which is difficult. Perhaps there's also an energy here of dishonesty. Or if not dishonesty, if not outright dishonesty, there's energy here around a realization that maybe something or someone is not quite as they would have portrayed themselves. So while it's not a difficult time, I feel that there's an energy here around clarity, which is beneficial. But the clarity is coming kind of under strained or difficult circumstances. So at the foundation here, you have the Nine of Wands in the upright position. This card is telling me that you have been enduring circumstances which are not that easy for a little while now. I feel that you've been, again, very enduring. And potentially for some of you, you may have been feeling an impact on your vitality, on your life force energy. There may be some physical exhaustion that comes with that, but I feel like what this is like an extended period of time where you have been dealing with difficult people or difficult circumstances. But I'm seeing that time period could be coming to a close soon. But there are some loose ends here to tie up, and there's some energy to deal with. So it's not at a total closure yet. I see that. Where do I start? You have the Magician and the High Priestess in your reading, number 1 and number 2 from the Major Arcana. They're both in reverse. So this kind of indicates to me that, as I said earlier, the Magician in reverse kind of feels like someone that you're dealing with is not entirely honest or upfront. There could be a bit of a manipulative energy. This King of Wands are also at the heart of the reading could suggest that you might be dealing with someone who's very charismatic, very charming, a very good communicator, someone who may have wrapped you up in an exciting story and kind of brought you along on their adventure with not necessarily the most righteous of intentions. But it feels like a gray area because in a way maybe the story they've been spinning you is one of like some kind of project which is in alignment with some of your values. So it was not difficult for you to get on board with this person is what I feel. But there is a feeling here of like, maybe they have a good ideas and good, they have or had a good project that they offered you that, as I said, is in alignment with your values, but there's something sneaky or underhanded about this person. Or, yeah, because you have this Seven of Swords here in the reverse, in the position of coming into the ring. For some of you, what I'm describing here is something that you're already aware of, and the information had already come to light recently. So this is you still working with the energies that you became aware of maybe last month or in recent months. But there is this feeling here of like an extended period of unraveling, of kind of could be separation for some of you, but this Hierophant here with the Queen of Cups is kind of telling me that there may be some legal matters with this person that you're having to deal with, and that's having, again, a little bit of an emotionally taxing time on you. Again, I'm kind of all over the reading today, but that's how it's going to go. So here we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse with a Lover. So this could say that if it's a romantic partnership or marriage or love interest reading we're talking about here, then you might be finding that your feelings towards this person have changed, or you may be wanting to shift the direction of your life and moving it away from this person. And the same would apply if this is a business reading. If we're talking about a project that you undertook with somebody, you might be deciding now, you might be seeing that the course or the direction of this project is moving away from where you want to go, where you would like to see your life moving. And so you may be deciding here to move on, move away from this person. But again, because we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Hierophant here in your reading, I do feel that there is some legal matters here that may take a little bit longer than, you might not get this immediate result that you want for unraveling this situation. That's why I feel like, as I said, having had the Seven of Swords in the past, you're already aware that you want to make this change, and there's still some steps that have to be taken to actually be able to help you completely extract this person or this situation out of your environment, out of your life. So here we have Knight of Swords in reverse, Five of Wands in reverse, and there's a Five of Swords crowning the reading. So this is telling me that yes, there's been maybe some argumentativeness, some difficulty, some strain, maybe some conflict. May not be outright, arguments or heated conversations even. It could just be that there is simply a difficulty in communication because you're not seeing eye to eye with this person. You've realized after some time perhaps that you're actually on a completely different trajectory and needing to move in different directions. Maybe the conversations about how to do that have been a little bit difficult or slow going because you have to be really patient, because perhaps this person has a temper and could get fired up if you try to approach him or her in a certain way that they don't like, that doesn't fit their kind of ego trip that they're having. Maybe for some of you this is the case. Now, as I said, having the Magician and the High Priestess both in reverse in the reading does kind of suggest that this person could be a little dishonest, a little manipulative, could have been, or maybe still are hiding information from you that would help you to really understand the truth of what's going on. You have also the Seven of Cups here in reverse with this High Priestess in reverse. So either or, information has come to light and secrets have been revealed, or truth has been shown, and that's helping you to attain a sense of clarity that you may not have had recently. Like the Seven of Cups could be that you've been rather confused and unsure and unclear about things, or vice versa. Information has finally come to light and you are now feeling more clear because you can see more truthfully what this person is actually really about. So both could be applicable, either or could be applicable there. You have 5, 6, and 7 of Swords in your reading. The 6 of Swords is the crossing card here at the center of the reading. This is telling me that your challenge is to move out of a difficult situation and find yourself in a more calm and serene and clear place in your life where you have taken yourself away from difficult circumstances and or difficult people. So I feel like I've covered all the cards here in the reading thus far. I'm just going to check over and see if there's nothing else here. I do feel that the message here overall is one of patience, because I think as I said, you have come to this awareness about the situation that you're in or the person that you're dealing with in recent times. So you already are in this process of kind of clarifying and clearing up and moving away from and like extracting and unraveling things. So you're actually already in this process is what I feel. And so all I can say here is just to be patient. Excuse me, just be patient, because there are steps that need to be taken, especially if there is legal issues that need to be handled. Like if you're dealing with contracts or certificates, marriage certificates, things like that, then there is like a bureaucratic process involved, which always adds extra time onto a situation. But seeing the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups both in reverse here, this could also say to me that it's important for you to maintain a calm composure and be kind of really work on your emotional intelligence to be able to manage this person's energy and kind of, you know, not in a sly or in a sneaky or in a cunning way, but be kind of one step ahead of them in the way that you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for the steps that need to unfold, just to be prepared for how they might react. Be prepared for the things they might kind of, like, if you can sense that they might try to throw curveballs at you, then just think ahead and try to prepare for how that might play out, and be ready to handle it in a very adult and mature way, in a polite way, in a way that doesn't give them any room to try to manipulate further or take advantage further. And just be on guard is what I'm hearing. Be patient and be prepared. And again, not in a, like, I'm not trying to fearmonger here. I'm not trying to, like, scare you into some kind of drama. I think this is just about you being aware about who you're dealing with, because you've come to think, it's come to light. It's come to light. And this person may not necessarily be a bad person. I think it's just something about their style of doing things, or what they want, their agenda, their goals are different from yours. And if you want to go a different way, that's fine for you to do so. And you just have to carefully and with precision take the right steps to make sure that you really clear your energy of this person's influence. The World reverse, Knight of Wands reverse, the Tower reverse, and Eight of Pentacles reverse. Okay, so this is more of a reiteration there, because the World in reverse is basically saying that this is not totally a complete cycle yet, but you're close to it. Knight of Wands is saying you have Knight of Wands and Knight of Wands and Knight of Swords both in reverse in your reading now. I do feel like this is the energy of the person you're dealing with, where, as I said, there could be some emotional immaturity, there could be some flare-ups of temper, there could be some unfiltered communication, a little bit of arrogance perhaps at times. So again, just being aware of these kind of tendencies that you may be dealing with, and always come with polite, calm energy, so that you don't, like, if this person is coming at you with that kind of energy of like a temper tantrum or explosiveness, or even just like a kind of way of trying to press you with certain kind of, without even raising their voice or anything, but just like a little bit of a bullying energy is what I'm feeling for some. Don't meet them in that place. If you meet them with like that calm, serene energy, it's just going to diffuse them. It's just going to diffuse them, and they will have no. Don't give them cause for trigger, is what I'm saying. Don't give them cause for trigger. That's what I'm saying about being one step ahead, being emotionally intelligent, kind of predict where they might try to take a conversation, or where they might try to take you mentally and emotionally, and just always come into every situation from a calm, quiet, peaceful center. Give them like compassion and kindness and polite, kind words. Don't meet their temper tantrum with more aggression, because it won't turn out well. Won't turn out well. And yeah, the Tower reverse here as well is also saying that there is movement and change here, but maybe it's happening a little bit slower than you would like. You know, the World reverse and the Tower reverse, both talking about sudden changes, a little bit of drama with this Tower card, but not like, again, it's just what's happening. And work with the energies that you have here in front of you, and in time you will find yourself in a much more calm, quiet, and detached place away from this person. And Eight of Pentacles reverse there, it does feel like, again, this could be I think for many of you watching, this is more about work. Of course, it could, with the Lovers this could be a relationship reading for some of you. But seeing the Eight of Pentacles in reverse there does say to me again that you just need to be vigilant, be mindful, make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and everything's in order, and be very meticulous and very careful over every detail to make sure that you close this cycle out without any residual legal, emotional, mental, or physical threads that could tie you back, that would cause you to have to kind of circle back around and deal with this again in the future. Okay, so not necessarily an easy time, but it's okay. Like, just work with the energy that you're dealing with. Keep your head up, keep focused, keep your eye on the prize, keep working towards the goal that you have, if that is to get disconnected or away from this person. And just, as I said, maintain a space of calm and quiet and serene and polite, compassionate energy when you're dealing with this person. And make sure that you deal with all the details thoroughly. Make sure you check over if there's contracts to look at, or if there's any type of detail-oriented stuff that you need to be really, really meticulous with. Do that. Take care of your responsibilities and make sure that you like cover every option, every base. So here I've got the Voyager deck. I'm going to shuffle here to give you a higher octave reading. I'm going to use the same spread, the Holographic Mandala spread that I've developed, to give another layer to your reading, to provide insight on what's happening on a karmic and spiritual level, to hopefully provide insight on how best to move forward with grace, to understand the factors that are at play and how to make the most out of the opportunity that's available to us. Sage of Crystals, the Hermit, Four of Wands, Child of Cups reversed, Ace of Wands reversed, Five of Cups reversed, Man of Cups reversed, Woman of Crystals, the Universe reversed, that's the World card, repeated here, the Star reversed, Man of Wands, Four of Crystals, Time Space reversed, that's the Judgment card, and Five of Wands reversed. Okay. It does feel rather similar. This spread feels rather similar. It's kind of like more or less repeating what I've just said, but I'm gonna go through each card and have a look and go into a little bit more detail. But it does what my first impression here when I'm looking at the cards. I mean, the fact that you have Judgment and Time Space both in the reading, it does say that you're very close to being at the end of this process. Both of them are in reverse. So Time Space is number 20 from the Major Arcana, and in the Rider-Waite deck, this is the Judgment card. And Universe is numbered 21. It's also reversed, and it's called Universe in this deck, which is the World card. So what this says to me is that again, you had a revelation occurred where you understood something about a person or about a situation that gave you an understanding that then enabled you to catalyze a change in your life. And the World card is indicating that a closure to a cycle is coming soon. Now, Man of Cups, Child of Cups, both in reverse, with the Five of Wands here. There's the Woman of Crystals upright and the Sage of Crystals upright. So there is kind of like, and you had some like the Queen of Cups in reverse there. That's this sort of similar energy here. So what I feel is here is that you're holding this space of like clarity and, again, like I said, calm, a little bit stoic even in some regards. Like I feel you need to bring a little bit of that energy with this person just to kind of, like I said, not trigger them to flare off more, but just like be almost like obsequious. Not to the point of compromising yourself, but just in a way of like managing and controlling the energy between you and this person. And I don't mean that, again, I don't mean that in a cunning way. I just mean that in an emotionally intelligent way. Like if you know that being calm and quiet in a certain way is going to make that person triggered even more, then it's about just taking the right posture and the right appearance and the right composure to this person so that there is no trigger points for them to act up and flare off on you. It's about you manipulation was a word that I wasn't planning to say, but the guides were bringing that through. It's, again, I guess manipulation doesn't have to have a bad context in this regard. It's about just managing the energy flow between you and them so that the outcome is the best it can be. Calm and peaceful and, articulate and reciprocal and mutual, of like everyone's benefiting out of the situation and we're moving through this as calmly as possible without too much anger or temper tantrums, but just like everyone clearing the air, clearing the way. Sage of Crystals at the heart of the reading, crossed by the Hermit. I do feel like for you there is this energy here around like that you learned a lot from this process. You have learned a lot from this person. It may not have been easy. That's been indicated clearly from the previous reading and from these cards as well. Certainly may not have been an easy time, but you definitely have learned a lot out of this experience from this person and from the scenario, the situation that has been playing out. So there's no loss there in that regard. But there's some cards indicating here, like the Star in reverse, it does feel like there's within you a little bit of sadness that it didn't work out, but it's actually not about that. What it's saying here, what this is about is that you may have been a little idealistic in your pursuit of a certain agenda, and perhaps you felt aligned with someone at the beginning with you know, maybe it was very synchronistic the way you kind of came together with this person. I think some of what you're learning here is like character assessment. I think that's very much part of the learning that you're receiving here. It's like, it's one thing to be really optimistic and hopeful and see the best in people and want for and hope for and invoke the greatest possible outcome in a situation with a collaboration, with a relationship or whatever. But there's something to be said here about honest and genuine character assessment without feeling like you're judging a person, but just using foresight and clarity of intuition and gut feeling to actually really see a person's makeup in a way that allows you to enhance their good qualities and minimize their not so good qualities, or if necessary, using foresight in a scenario like that to see an outcome like that, like what you're experiencing now, and just simply avoid it altogether by just seeing that possibility and knowing that you could avoid all this trouble in the first place if you just went around, you know. But trial and error, right? The crowning card is the Four of Wands. In this deck it's called Aspiration. I love this card. It's just about the reaching for a greater possibility. It's about the growth path for me. This card in the Rider-Waite deck is the marriage card, but in this deck I see it very differently. I see this more about like the inner journey of the personal growth of a spiritual warrior who's constantly striving for their greatest potential, like reaching forward for for the ways that they can be the best them. And that's kind of the crowning card of this reading, and that's what I feel like the fundamental lesson of this experience for you is just about your growth and your expansion. I feel like a Jupiterian energy exists within that card. Like it's an expansive kind of growing energy of like exponentiated kind of embodiment of the self through like experience. You have another four here too, actually. There's two fours crowning the reading. This one's a Four of Swords. This card is it's Four of Crystals in this deck. It's called Logic here as well. And again, some of the cards in the Voyager deck do mirror the Rider-Waite deck and other tarots, but some of them are very different. And these two are definitely two cards I would say are rather different in this deck. So what I feel is here, this card is in the position of your hopes and fears with the universe in reverse. So I feel that what it's saying here is that yes, you're coming to a closure of a cycle here, but this Four of Swords is saying that there is some, and I said this in the previous reading, it's the same interpretation here. There's some meticulousness and some details that need to be thoroughly combed over to ensure a really complete closure and a very thorough, detailed operation is like wrapped up here so that there's no lingering threads or any residue left over later that you might have to come back to. And again, with a lot of these crystal cards that I'm seeing here, the Woman of Crystals, the Four of Crystals, the Sage of Crystals, I feel that this is encouraging you to bring a little bit of a stoic mental energy to the situation. I've kind of said this already before, but I want to go over it again. It's just about like leaving your emotional reaction to this thing out of the picture in a way to be able to handle certain components of actually closure, like to actually have a complete closure here. I feel like it's much more of a clear mind space of like righteousness and clarity without too much emotional entanglement in the details of actually processing information, whether that's just through your communication with this person or whether this is some legal and bureaucratic stuff or operational administrative things that need to be handled. Either way, I'm just feeling this in a way it's like less of the emotional stuff. You do have the Man of Cups here and the Five of Cups, both are in reverse. So again, there's these two cards here represent you and how you see yourself at this time. So the Man of Cups in reverse with the Five of Wands also in reverse. It's like, yeah, you are kind of finding a way to liberate. Like you had two fives in the previous reading as well. You had the Five of Wands, again, Five of Wands. And in the crowning card, you had the Five of Swords, and here's the Five of Cups. So the fives are about they can be cards which indicate some difficulty and strife and challenging energies to deal with. But they also are beneficial energies in the sense that they are indicators that you're on the threshold of a major change. Because those kind of difficult situations that can't really sustain for a long time. They are the doorway into a transition of the next thing, the new thing. So 5 of Wands here in reverse with the Man of Cups in reverse. This is kind of describing to me how you feel. There is some sadness there about this situation having maybe not worked out in the way that you had hoped, like with your kind of idealism and your optimism and your hopefulness, star reversed, about how this could have worked out. I feel a little bit of sadness and some disappointment around it not actually actualizing in the way that you had envisioned. But with the Woman of Crystals here, with the Judgment card, I do feel that there is like a clarity in you and an understanding that makes it okay. Like you're able to integrate and understand everything and like resolve those emotions to feel confident and clear moving forward and understand that you learned a lot in the situation and there's no loss. Now the final cards here, I didn't really talk about this central card here in the reading. This is the Hermit crossing over the Sage of Crystals. So this card describes your challenge or the direction that you must take. So here the Hermit is saying to me that your challenge is to go out on your own, or to, again, if this is a romantic relationship reading, then this is describing that it may be difficult for you to be alone or to go on your own, or maybe you're afraid of feeling lonely or isolated. And the same might be true if this is a business or work reading for you. You may not feel so sure about, maybe you don't feel so sure about like starting something on your own or starting over again, but the crossing card is interesting because it describes the challenge, but it also tells us the direction that we need to go. So while you're tying up loose ends here, use this time to really meditate and go within and process the thoughts and feelings that you're experiencing, and like use your meditative space to kind of clear away things and emotions and feelings from the past, but also create a space for new ideas to emerge, to kind of gain a really strong, strengthen your connection to your higher self so that you can receive impulses and intuitive messages and guidance from your higher self to help you understand what's next for you after this experience. Now finally we have in the outcome position Man of Wands with the Star in reverse, and this to me describes, as I said, the character in this scenario that I saw in the previous reading is kind of showing up here again as this Man of Wands, and in this deck it's called Actor. And when I see this card come out, it usually indicates to me again that the person you're dealing with is not entirely honest or upfront. As I said, they may not be a bad person necessarily, but there's some qualities in their personality, in their nature, that are a little bit, there's some deception in there and some hidden things, because like, you can see a lot of there's masks in this in the card. It's hard to see with the light there, but there's a lot of masks shown, and the name of the card is Actor. So this card that sort of says to me that this person is performing. They're putting on an act, so they may not be entirely genuine and authentic yet. They may be working on it, but there is parts of themselves that there's obstructions and hidden things and resistance based on their own, unresolved things from the past that they're still playing out in a certain way. And by you being in close proximity to this person, you have had to deal with some of those things. And if those things are not part of your karmic clearance that you need to do, then you don't need to be in such close proximity to this person to then have to deal with these issues, because they're not actually your issues, it's their issues. So let's take a look at the bottom of the deck. 10 of Worlds upright. Reward, I like that. 5 of Worlds, so another 5. 7 of Worlds. So 3 Pentacles cards coming out here, and then the Child of Crystals upright. So this is saying to me that for some of you, again, I keep coming back to this being about business because I do feel like it is that. But even if this is about a relationship, there is some money is a key element here in these extended cards. So for some of you, you might have been holding on for the notion or the promise of what you could earn, the reward that could come, but now you're having like maybe an understanding that maybe that was not possible, or maybe it was possible but now it's not possible, something like that. So there's this element here of needing to accept the situation for what it is, and accept possibly a loss, or accept that you may not earn what you thought you might have earned, or that your investment may not come to fruition and you may not be able to redeem what you had put in, whether that was your time and energy or actual money. And final card here, Learner, Child of Crystals. Again, I've said this already in this reading a few times. This has been a very valuable learning experience for you, so there's no loss. Even if you're out of pocket, even if you put a lot of time in, you can't calculate that as a loss. If you attach a mental and emotional sensation of loss to this experience, you're gonna really, how do I describe that? It's really important not to do that. You really need to understand that this was a valuable learning experience and you gained a lot out of it. It may not have been financial, but you definitely gained in this situation. There is no loss. If you walk away from this mourning for the financial and emotional loss that you've perceived to have experienced, you will really be affecting your ability to experience abundance in the future. I wish I could find a more elegant way of saying that, but that's basically it. Like, if you walk away from this and keep calculating the loss, you will keep feeling poor and impoverished emotionally and financially. So don't do that. Don't keep calculating a financial loss out of this situation. Move forward and use this experience as vital and valuable information that you have gained wisdom and experience from. The final card there, I'm going to take this, is the Chariot. So this is a very beneficial energy that your guides are providing to say to you, like, you keep going, don't give up, use your willpower, just keep moving forward one day at a time. Just point your vehicle, point your ship, point your chariot in the right direction, and just keep working towards that, and deal with everything that comes up in as I said, a calm composure. Don't allow emotions to let you get fired up. Don't let a person or a situation allow you to get triggered or emotionally flared up, because it will not help you move forward in the situation. You can process your emotions and your feelings in a way that doesn't don't bring the energy of like disappointment or sadness or anxiety into each day. Like, wake up in the morning and give yourself positive reinforcement. Set yourself up for a win each day by having like your morning routines established with really like fire energy, like moving forward in a beneficial way, in a positive way, and just like handle your business. Be like rise with the day with like a hopeful energy, and everything's gonna like in time sort itself out with your diligent effort. So Sagittarius, I hope you found that insightful. I hope there's things in there that you can work with. Thanks for your time. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. There's a lot of information in there, so you might want to watch it again now, and I would suggest that you also come back to this reading at the end of the month and give it another review. You will definitely find more information in here the second time around after some events unfold. So thank you for your subscription. If you haven't already, please do. Hit the notification bell if you would like to know when new readings are being uploaded. And I will see you in next month's reading.